Hello everyone and welcome to this week's commentary. This will be board number 23 from the top 50 brevities from the periodical Qiyi. And this is one of my favorite matches of all time. Red was Grandmaster Hu Ronghua, perhaps the greatest of all time. Black was Grandmaster Li Laiqun, also a candidate for one of the greatest Xiangqi players of all time. Both are my favorite players, and for those who know me, I love the same direction cannons. I have to play it now and then, or something just wouldn't feel right. And this was a same direction cannons match. The event was the Baoren杯象棋顺炮王争霸赛, which was a themed tournament whereby only the same direction cannons were allowed for both red and black. Such theme tournaments are very rare, and this same direction cannons theme tournament happened only once. It occurred in 1991, and it was an international event representing China were Grandmaster Hu Ronghua and Li Laiqun, who were both at their peak. Now, both players were nearly invincible and met in the final match, and this was their same direction cannons game. Without further ado, let us begin this very exciting match. So, central cannon, as mentioned before, only the same direction cannons were allowed. This basic formation, and in this game, Grandmaster Hu Ronghua chose the foul chariot variation, and Black chose the deferred chariot variation. Now, the deferred chariot variation only came about a few decades ago. It was many people also attribute it to Grandmaster Hu Ronghua, and the main idea behind this variation would be to allow Black to develop his horses and adopt a wait-and-see approach so that Black could counter Red's aggressions more accurately with hopefully with pinpoint accuracy. Now the game will start become interesting because Grandmaster Hu Ronghua played the edge horse at the fourth ply. This is not advocated, and this method of playing was very prevalent in the ancient manuals. By storing the horse at the edge file, Red would have many options to deal with this cannon. He could advance the cannon across the river to the riverbank, to the 7th file for the 5-7 cannons or the 5-6 cannons. Now, there are many variations given in the book, in the magazine, so I shan't be going over them, or the video would take too long. But please do go through them. The variations given there are quite modern, up to date, and quite practical for everyday use. So instead of the usual h8 plus 7, Black would play h8 plus 9. And at this point, Black decided to develop his chariot as a ranked chariot. And again, this was one of the methods of attacking in the ancient manuals, whereby Red would attack with r2 plus 6. Black could develop his right horse, not fearing this move, and Black would continue with r9 equals to 4. Now, for this position, in the periodical, there was a little bit of history that was mentioned. In 1984, this match was played in 1991, but 7 years prior to this match, during the 5 Rams Cup, fourth 5 Rams Cup, this position was also reached, and the colors were reversed. Red was Grandmaster Li Laiqun and Black was Grandmaster Hu Ronghua. The same position was seen, and Grandmaster Hu Ronghua played c5 minus 1 and eventually won that match. So there was a little bit of history to this position, and in this board, Grandmaster Li Laiqun chose to take a different route and play r9 equals to 4 instead. Now this is also considered to be okay. Now for Beginners, one might wonder, would red dare to capture the black horse? The answer would be no. For example, if red captured, black could immediately utilize a discovered check. This would be a check. And although it would be a trade of material, strategically wise, losing a chariot so early in the game would be to black's advantage, because the chariot is the most powerful piece, and there's still so many pawns or so much material left on the board. The mobility of the chariots at this point in time would be more advantageous for black. So that is why black could dare not capture the black horse. Red would not dare to capture the black horse. Okay. Now, in this match, Grandmaster Hu Ronghua played R9 plus 1. Now, other commonly played variations include C8 equals to 7 and C8 equals to 7, sorry, R3 equals to 1 is not, it cannot be played. So if C8 equals to 7 were played, this would be one of the commonly seen variations in the ancient manuals. Possible line would be, and black would still have a playable game. So this is a very complicated situation, which would take a little bit of explanation, but please go to the website and the board and then try to work out some of the variations if you are free. Now back to the match. R9 plus 1 was played, whereby red developed his left chariot as a ranked chariot. So after moving the chariot across the palace, black finally played c5 equals to 1. Now this formation will be something similar to this green horse defense, whereby the cannon will protect the horse and the other cannon will be used to patrol the third rank and attack or try to dislodge any other offending material, usually the enemy chariot. Okay, red continue with R9 equals to 4 to command another rib file. And at this point, black played R4 plus 6, which is very rare. Now, this is one of the variations that can be found in the ancient manuals, especially in the Secret in the Tangerine, but generally speaking, this is not advised and it's not advisable, and usually red will get the upper hand. Now the reason for this is because by advancing the chariot, the cannon will be forced to usually go to the riverbank rank where it can attack the horse or do a multitude of other things. And at this, the chariot placed at this position would be forced to move away. So if where it will move would be a big problem, a big issue, and often the chariot upon moving would also be very vulnerable to other attacks. Now there are a lot of there are quite few variations that can be found in the website on the section on the Secret in the Tangerine. If you also support my work, please go and buy the more detailed translations that I have published in the Secret in the Tangerine. It is my way of trying to promote and keep the ancient manuals intact. Okay, so c8 plus 2 was played, and red would play c5 equals to 7. Now I ran this position in my computer, but the suggested move at this time would be to play b3 plus 1, which I think would indeed make some sense, because in the match, after c5 equals to 7, red would move his chariot to the second file. Now this was part of a devious trap to try to gain material, and after which eventually c8 equals to 7 was played. So if we were to go back to this position, indeed p3 plus 1 is recommended by the computer program. It can be a better alternative or viable alternative. Okay, but unfortunately that was not the case in the match. So red continued with r3 equals to 2, and black played c7 equals to 4. Now this was a very devious trap by red to gain material, and luckily black did not fall for the trap. Usually it would be more sort of like an instinctive play to play a4 plus 5 as a prophylactic move, because this would prevent or protect this cannon. Should the red chariot advance r2 plus 2, black could retreat his cannon, and black would be able to have a very sturdy formation available. So luckily a4 plus 5 was not played because Grandmaster Hu Ronghua had a very devious trap in place. Threatening, and after an intermediate move, the chariot was now placed on the black's cannon rank, and again threatening to capture material, and this would be the trap that red had played. So this would be a discovered attack, threatening to capture the black chariot with c5 plus 4, and at the same time, because red had already played an intermediate move and positioned the red chariot on the cannon rank, black will now lose material because he can only protect either one or two of the pieces. Now you might wonder if black could black have protected the horse in this manner. The answer would still be a no, because this variation was not given in the book. I ran it through a computer, and if black tried to protect his horse and chariot at the same time in this manner, red would apply a very deadly skewer, and no matter what, black would be able to gain material. So that was why at this point in time, black can only try to play c2 plus 1, and after doing so, black could lose material. So that is why at this point in time, going back to this move, a4 plus 5 cannot be played. Red cannot be played. Okay. So now this is the level of Grandmasters. Of course, there's still many other things that I cannot see or I do not understand, but the general idea for this position would be so. So black played c7 equals to 4, and at this point, red tried to dislodge the black chariot with a4 plus 5, threatening to capture the chariot, forcing the chariot back, and this would be another blunder. Post-mortem analysis would suggest that r4 minus 3 to patrol the riverbank rank and lend some support to the horse would have been better. So at this point in time, I ran the position in the computer, and at this point in time, red would have amassed an advantage of about 200 points. So as can be seen, red will play c8 equals to 7 as discussed earlier, and black was forced to counter in this manner. c4 plus 2 to try to chase the red chariot away. Now this would not be a good idea, because although it would seem that red would have solved all his problems at once, red could attack in this manner. As can be seen, red would now be k5 equals to 4 for the checkmate. And if black tried to resolve this checkmate, he will have to play c2 equals to 5, and black would instead advance his chariot to this position. Now this was the suggested move given. Just to clarify something, okay, after playing c5 plus 4, capturing, black cannot play the elephant, because red will simply capture the elephant, as the black cannon had just blocked itself and was now threatening to capture the black cannon. And at this point, red would gain a very big advantage, and k5 equals to 4 would be an immediate threat to kill. So that is why e7 plus 5 cannot be played. But nevertheless, at this point in time, red would have acquired quite an advantage, and black would be in deep trouble. Hence, that was why Grandmaster Li Laiqun defended in this manner with c4 plus 2. And red advanced the chariot out of harm's way, and black retreated the centroid horse. Now comes the interesting part. Now, this is a very interesting move because red would actually get his place his chariot in harm's way. Usually this is not seen because black could simply play c2 minus 1 or c4 minus 2 to threaten to capture the red chariot, and the red chariot would be captured. Now, in this situation, Grandmaster Hu Ronghua boldly threatened to sacrifice or offered his chariot as a sacrifice by playing r2 equals to 3. The main idea behind this move was to block the black horse so that red would be prepared to play k5 equals to 4 and go for the checkmate. So how did Grandmaster Li Laiqun react? He played c2 plus c2 plus 2, so that if the king moved out, c2 equals to 6 would be a check. However, during post-mortem analysis, c4 plus 1 would have been better than c2 equals to 2, as black would not only have dealt with the issue of this poorly positioned cannon, he could also have played c4 equals to 5, and black would still protect the red file in this manner. So perhaps c4 plus 1 would have been better. Anyways, red continued to attack very aggressively with c4 plus 6. Now, when there's a Xiangqi saying whereby if one of the black horses move to the centroid position, the general would usually faint in fright. So this is a colorful saying just to stress the effects of a congested position and its vulnerability against the enemy chariots. So by this time, I ran the position again through my computer, and red would have an advantage of about 500 to 600 points, depending on the variation. But we can sense that black was in all sorts of trouble now. Red tried to move his defense in this manner. Black went for the kill. Black went for the kill with k5 equals to 4, and black defended in this manner. Now red cannot play r3 equals to 4, as the cannon would now have protected or prevented that. So red continued his aggressive attack by capturing the central pawn. The horse will now be left unprotected, so red could capture with r3 minus 1 and capture the cannon if need be. And the centroid horse would now be skewered and be completely immobilized. So r4 minus 1 was played by black to try to prevent this from happening, but black just simply chose to sacrifice his chariot and trade for 2 of black pieces while still commanding this very important file. Now at this point in time, black played r4 equals to 6. Now r4 equals to 6 r4 equals to 6 was the correct move to make. Black cannot play r4 minus 1 to defend or protect the cannon in this manner, because if he did, Red will traverse the cannon to this file and be prepared to play c2 plus 5 for the checkmate, which cannot be resolved by black. So this is why black must protect his cannon in this manner by delivering a check. However, as can be seen, red was all over the place. Black continued with p3 plus 1, and red doubled down his pressure on the central file. Finally, the other black chariot was moved, p3 plus 1, to threaten to capture the black chariot, forcing the chariot away. And at this point, black resigned. Now it would seem to be, although red would have a significant advantage, but why did black resign? I ran this position in my computer, and if it turned out that there was a checkmate a few moves later. So by playing r4 plus 1, red would now be threatening to capture the cannon for the immediate checkmate, forcing the black chariot to defend this manner. But after this threat was resolved, the red horse would now be the key attacking piece. So this was given in my computer program. Check. A very important intermediate move to prevent the black chariot from causing any mischief or trying to turn the tables. And once the horse was at this position, it would be a definite checkmate position. Red would have sacrificed everything just to get the horse over here. So this would be an angle horse checkmate. With the cannon in the central file, the black chariot and horse cannot move. Now, if the chariot captured the cannon, red would simply capture the advisor for the checkmate. So it would not matter if black tried to sacrifice material, etc. It would be an immediate checkmate. So that was why Grandmaster Li Laiqun resigned, and that was just only the 23rd ply. So this has been one of my favorites, one of my most favorite same direction cannon games of all time, not only because of its exciting, the level of excitement, but also because it was played by two of the greatest players perhaps of all time. I hope you have enjoyed this slightly long commentary. If you like my work, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll hope to be able to share more about Xiangqi with you. So thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.